What's up guys, Andrew Baena here, and it is time for Baena's Best Bands. If you're new to this channel, I do a segment at the end of every month where I talk about the best bands and new music releases that I have been listening to. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first band I want to talk about should be no surprise. It is of course Architect's brand new album called Holy Hell. I'm sure if you are a metal fan or metalcore fan in any aspect, you've already heard of Architects for sure, and you definitely know about this album as it has been hugely anticipated. If you're somehow not familiar with their story, the very basic summary is that their guitarist and founding member Tom Searle passed away, unfortunately, from cancer a couple of years ago, and this is their first release since his passing, so their first release without Tom in the band, so it's a pretty huge landmark. Because of that reason, the band has chosen to go on and continue making music, which is excellent. I'm very glad that they decided to continue pushing on. So they obviously had quite a big challenge going into this, as he wrote pretty much all the music from my understanding before this point. So now the other members had to kind of figure out what they were going to do. So with this album, I will say it's not personally my favorite Architects album ever, but with all of the kind of emotional overtones and all the reasoning behind this album, that kind of makes it an amazing album still, in my opinion. It's definitely not my favorite Architects release, like I just said, but there's still some amazing songs. In my opinion, the singles are still kind of the best songs on the album. My personal favorites are Royal Beggars, which I really didn't like the first time I heard it, but every time I listen to it, it grows on me a little bit more and a little bit more. Sam Carter's vocals in this song in particular are absolutely amazing. He is like the perfect example of a metalcore vocalist. The way he switches between cleans and screams is just, no one else can touch him, in my opinion. So here's a little clip of what Royal Beggars sounds like, and definitely go check out the rest of the album if you are a fan of Architects at all. The next band I want to talk about is a bit smaller of a band that you might not have heard of. I just played a show with these guys last night, and they really blew me away. This band is called Mothersound. They're another metalcore band from Los Angeles, California. I hadn't heard of them before we got booked to play the show, so I checked them out, and I was very pleasantly surprised. If you're a fan of like Invent Animate or Silent Planet, this is basically the perfect band for you. That's kind of the best way I can describe their sound, is a really awesome combination of Silent Planet, Invent Animate, kind of like genty metalcore type thing. Yeah, very, very cool band. Once again, they're called Mothersound, and here's a clip of what they sound like.
This place is flooded, I don't wanna be a part of it. We're living in a mediocrity of policy. How did we take so many steps towards the brighter side, only to find ourselves decades back from where we were?
The next band I want to talk about is Silent Planet. I know I kind of referenced them with Mothersound's sound, weird sentence. Yeah, so Silent Planet also released a new album this month, which I was very much looking forward to, and it absolutely delivered. In my opinion, this might actually be my favorite album of 2018. All the singles they had released up until this point were all really, really good, and they just kept getting better and better. But listening to the album as a whole was just perfect. I've been a fan of these guys since I heard their first album like 4 years ago or whatever it was. And I've always kept an eye on them, but never been like a huge fan of theirs, but I always respected what they do. I always thought they were really cool. But with this album, I think this is their best album they've ever released. Everything that's on it is just so thoughtful, well thought out. I'm not really one for caring about lyrics usually, but the way that their vocalist writes his lyrics is incredibly interesting. If you watch any of their lyric videos, he actually has footnotes and like citations. It's almost like he's writing an English essay when he writes lyrics, which is really interesting. I've never seen any other band do something like that before. And even just listening to him talk about the meaning behind the songs is just very fascinating to me, and I think that it adds a whole new level to the songs. Instrumentally, they're also amazing. Just pretty much everything about this band really blew me away. Like I said, I was already a fan, so for them to exceed my expectations is really cool. So without further ado, this is what Silent Planet sounds like.
This is a sky, exiled into the night, wrapped
The next band I want to talk about, I've talked about many a times in this series before. It is my homies in Spiritbox. If you somehow still haven't checked these guys out, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, definitely go check them out right now. Well, not right now, maybe after this video, because, you know, I need the watch time and all that. But yeah, I've been really trying to promote these guys since they first announced their music back in 2017, and they've been absolutely killing it. This year they've released 3 singles so far. I talked about one of them already a couple months ago when they released it. It was called Perennial. They just released another brand new song with a little bit of a visualizer with it. Very cool song. Everything they do is so awesome, and I'm so glad that I got to know these guys and become friends with them through music. I've known of them through their various projects throughout the years, such as Fallen Archaea and I Wrestled a Bear Once, of course, which Courtney was the vocalist for a while, and before that she was also the vocalist of another band from my area called Unicron. So I've been following these guys for a really long time. Really cool to see how far they've progressed is what I meant to say. And yeah, Spiritbox has been absolutely killing it. Everything they release is awesome, and here's a clip of what their newest song sounds like. Alright guys, so that'll do it for this month's edition of Baena's Best Bands. Once again, I do one of these every month. However, next month I will not be doing this because it is the end of the year, so I will of course instead be doing my top 5 or top 10 or whatever favorite albums of 2018 and my top 5 or top 10 favorite songs of 2018. So in December I like to change it up a bit and just do kind of like a review of the year. But yeah, if you guys ever have any suggestions for bands I should check out, definitely drop them in the comments below. I always try to check out new music as much as humanly possible, so any suggestions are much appreciated. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I'm very close to hitting my goal of 100,000 subscribers, which will be a huge milestone for me. I've been working on YouTube for a long ass time, and I'm very excited to finally almost be where I want to be. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.